All right, let's talk about trading. There's so much noise out there, right? So much hype. Everyone's promising some secret to get rich quick. Well, today we're going to cut through all of that. We're laying out a real, honest-to-goodness roadmap, a clear path that can take you from knowing absolutely nothing to being a truly disciplined pro. So let's just dive right in.
So what's the real path? The one that actually works? Is it some secret indicator you have to buy, some magic formula someone's selling online? Look, the answer is a big, fat no. The path to becoming a successful trader isn't a secret at all. It's a process. It's all about building skills, discipline, and the right mindset, piece by piece. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack.
Okay, so here's the journey, broken down into 3 main phases over your first year. We've got phase 1, building your foundation, then phase 2, developing a solid strategy, and finally, phase 3, which is maybe the most important of all, achieving consistency. Let's kick things off with phase 1.
All right, phase 1, building your foundation. Think of your first 3 months as, like, your apprenticeship. And let me be super clear here, this is not about making money. Seriously, don't even think about profit. Your one and only job is to learn the language and the rules of the game.
I mean, think about it, right? You wouldn't just hop into the cockpit of a 747 and try to fly it without knowing what all the buttons do. That'd be crazy. The market is exactly the same. So for now, your only mission is to be a sponge. Just absorb everything you can until you're fluent in the language of trading. So what does that actually look like day to day? Well, first, you got to get the basics down, how the market even works. Then you learn how to read the charts. Think of candlesticks as the words, and things like support and resistance, that's the grammar. And this part is absolutely crucial. You start paper trading. This is your flight simulator. It lets you practice, make mistakes, and learn without risking a single penny of real money. Your homework, just 1 hour of studying charts every single day. No excuses.
Okay, moving on to phase 2, developing your strategy. So, you've learned the basic language of the market. Now it's time to start putting sentences together. This phase, from months 3 to 6, is all about taking what you've learned and building an actual, practical strategy that you can use over and over again.
Look, a good strategy is a mix of offense and defense. Your offense is learning the technical indicators, the tools like RSI and MACD that help you spot opportunities. But your defense, that's just as, if not more important. This is where you learn about risk management and position sizing, basically how to protect your money. You find one simple strategy, you backtest it to make sure it actually has an edge, and only then do you even think about putting a small amount of real capital on the line. Okay, let's pause here and talk about maybe the single most important idea in all of trading, the risk-to-reward ratio. It boils down to one simple question you have to ask yourself before you click the buy button on any trade. For every single dollar I'm putting at risk here, how many dollars could I realistically win? And here's the magic number you should be looking for at a bare minimum, 1 to 2. Why? It's simple math, really. It means that when you win, your wins are at least twice as big as your losses. This gives you a massive mathematical edge. Think about it. You could be wrong more often than you're right and still make money. That's a total game changer. And that brings us to the final stage, phase 3, achieving consistency. This is where the real work begins. You've got the knowledge, you've got a strategy, but this last phase, well, it's the toughest one because it has almost nothing to do with the market and everything to do with mastering the person staring back at you in the mirror. This is the big secret that most people never figure out. The market isn't your enemy. It's just there. It's an environment. The real fight is with your own emotions, your fear, your greed, your impatience. Real long-term consistency isn't about perfectly predicting what the market will do next. It's about perfectly controlling how you react to it. So, how do you actually win this internal battle? You do it with a solid process. You work on mastering your own psychology. You keep a detailed trading journal. Think of it like an airplane's black box, so you can learn from every single trade, good or bad. You stop trying to trade everything and become a specialist, focusing on just one setup that you know inside and out. And every week, you review your performance because the goal isn't to hit one lucky jackpot. It's to be consistently good day in and day out. Okay, so throughout all 3 of these phases, there are a few core principles that should always guide you. Let's call them the golden rules. Think of them as your compass, the things that will keep you pointed in the right direction for your entire trading career. And rule number 1, the absolute prime directive, is this: protect your capital. That's it. Your trading capital is the lifeblood of your business. If it's gone, you're out of the game. Period. So your number one job isn't to make money, it's to not lose the money you have. Profit just comes naturally after you've mastered your defense. So that begs a really practical question, right? If protecting our capital is job number one, how much should we actually be risking on any given trade? The answer is simple, and you need to burn this into your brain: 2% or less. You should never risk more than 2% of your entire account on one single idea. Seriously. This one rule alone makes it almost mathematically impossible to blow up your account. It guarantees you get to stay in the game, and staying in the game is how you eventually win. So let me ask you, what's more important, your strategy or your discipline? You could have the most perfect, genius-level strategy in the world, but it's completely worthless if you don't have the discipline to actually follow it when things get scary or you get greedy. Discipline. That's the bridge that connects your trading plan to your actual profits. Honestly, it's everything. You have to forget everything you've seen in the movies. Real, successful trading isn't some crazy, high-stakes adrenaline rush. It's kind of boring sometimes. It's just the consistent, methodical application of your strategy day after day. The real excitement doesn't come from one lucky trade. It comes from watching your account grow steadily over time. And this last rule, this is the big mindset shift that brings everything together. Trading is not a hobby. It's not a trip to the casino. It is a business, a serious one. And like any business, it needs a business plan, good records, performance reviews, and a commitment to always be learning. If you start treating it like a professional business, you'll be amazed when you start to see professional results. So there it is, the whole roadmap. The path from beginner to pro isn't some big mystery. It's a process built on structure and discipline. The map is right here in your hands. The only question left is whether you have the discipline to actually follow it.